Good afternoon. Ventanilla de Orientación Educativa, the Rights of Immigrant Students. This webinar informs parents of the right of all students, regardless of their immigration status, or that of their parents, to a pre-K through 12 education in the United States. It includes discussion on the procedures schools to follow when enrolling students in school. My name is Dr. Nilka Aviles. I'm a Senior Education Associate at IDRA, former principal and current university professor. I'm here with Diana Canizales, who represents the VOE, which stands for Ventanilla de Orientación Educativa. Welcome, Diana. Thank you for being here with IDRA for this webinar on the rights of immigrant students.
Thank you for having me.
So can you tell us what VOE is?
Of course. VOE is a partnership between IDRA and the Consulate of Mexico in San Antonio to help families navigate the U.S. education system and learn about important educational opportunities in both countries. VOE was created by Mexico Institute of Mexicans Abroad and provides information on the civil rights of immigrant and English learning students, local educational services, and resources on how to access and succeed in college. VOE also disseminates information on educational opportunities offered by the Mexican government for nationals abroad and develops various courses for immigrant parents.
Can you tell us a little bit about your role with the VOE?
I work with IDRA and offer presentations at the Mexican Consulate twice per week, every Tuesday and Thursdays morning. The presentations are available to visitors, including walk-in visitors.
In the wake of COVID-19 public health crisis, how has the VOE changed? Can you explain that, please?
Yes, Nilka. Well, the VOE has temporarily halted its in-person presentation. In the meantime, IDRA and the Consulate of Mexico in San Antonio wants to ensure that families continue to receive the important information that VOE offers. So I'm grateful to both for offering a series of webinars about the most common topics on education of immigrant students.
Yes, and as you said, this webinar will focus on the rights of immigrant students. In an atmosphere of heated debate and harsh federal immigration policy, what is the most important for families to know about the education of immigrant children?
First, school officials are not deputies of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. Public PreK-12 schools by law must serve all children. The education of undocumented students is guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution, as stated in the 1981 Supreme Court decision called Pliers versus Doe. Schools must follow certain procedures when registered immigrant children in the school to avoid violating their civil rights.
What did the Supreme Court decide on Plier versus Doe?
The U.S. Supreme Court ruled that children of undocumented workers and children who themselves are undocumented to have the same right to attend public primary and secondary schools as do U.S. citizens and permanent residents. Like other students, children of undocumented workers, in fact, are required under the state laws to attend the school until they reach the mandatory age. Schools personnel, especially principals and those involved with the students' registration and enrollment, have no legal obligation to enforce U.S. immigration laws.
So why was the court ruling so important?
The decision is vital because practices that deny or discourage immigrant children and families from public schooling victimize children. In addition, those type of practices are counterproductive for the country Denying children access to education does not eliminate illegal immigration. Instead, it ensures the creation of an underclass. Without public education for children, illiteracy rates will increase and opportunities for workforce and community participation will decrease.
And as a former principal, I can say that those harmful practices also waste valuable time while losing sight of the principal goals of public education. Rather than teaching students, school officials could spend their time asking our millions of school children about their citizenship status. States would be forced to spend millions of dollars to do the work of ICE. So as educators, we want to protect children's rights and not encourage racism or discrimination. So as a result of prior ruling, what are some things public schools cannot do? Can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
Yes, Nilka. Well, there are several things. Public schools cannot deny admission to a student during initial enrollment or at any other time on the basis of undocumented status. Another thing that they can do is that public schools cannot treat a student differently to the term residency. Also, public schools cannot engage in any practices to shield the right of access to school. Public schools cannot require students or parents to disclose or document their immigration status. Public schools cannot make inquiries of students or parents intended to expose their undocumented status. Or public schools cannot require social security numbers from all of the students, as this may expose undocumented status.
To clarify, should schools use social security numbers for identification or registration of students?
No, and for those schools that do, it should be clear from the beginning that the students who do not present a social security number will be assigned a number generated by the school. While a school may request a birth certificate, they may not bar students from enrolling. If they do not have a birth certificate, adults without social security numbers who are applying for a free lunch and or breakfast program for a student need only state on the application that they do not have a social security number.
Some people fear providing personal information to the students' schools because of how a school might use that information. And that's actually a normal feeling for them. What protections do families have?
The Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, or FERPA, prohibits schools from providing any outside agency, including ICE, with any information from child's school file that would expose students' undocumented status. The only exception is if an agency gets a court order that parents can then challenge. It's also important for families to know that ICE agents, according to ICE own policies, should refrain from enforcement actions at certain sensitive locations, which include schools.
Thank you so much, Diana, for all this important information. We are actually running out of time, but if any of you want more information or need to report an incident that your child was excluded from school or that a school delayed your child's enrollment because of his or her immigration status, you can always reach us at IDRA at 210-444-1710. Also, for more resources on the rights of immigrant students, visit www.idra.org. And look out on IDRA's YouTube channel for more VOE webinars. If you have additional questions, please contact Diana at dcanizales.voe@gmail.com. Thanks, everyone. Stay safe and stay home, if at all possible.